Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Chaya, breakfast today. Look at these beautiful donuts. Sponsored by Shamshi Shlafrak. Latzlochas Hayelodim. Shirkoyach. The Olam is stepping up. Unbelievable. Instead of emails today, we got to go quickly, but I want to show you something that was very inspiring. Usually people ask me if they can do a siyum and shir, and the answer is not really. But yesterday's siyum was a very special siyum, a siyum of Hischaskus HaTorah. That's Reb Yossi Klein's lashon, Hischaskus HaTorah, and it gives a lot of chizuk to people. We have a guy in the Hebrew shir. His name is Mendy Goldstein. He's Benny's cousin. He's a huge brother-in-law, a huge Bal Kishrin. He knows how to learn very, very well. And he learned in yeshivas. He's a yeshivish guy. He doesn't look the most yeshivish today, but you'll hear from the way he speaks. He was inspired by Mo Landy, who inspired hundreds of people. And on his way to the Shabbaton, and on the way back, on the plane, he's Messiahing an entire Masechta of 26 daf, Masechtas Chagiga, and here he is. The leather yarmulke and all.
אומר ריש לוקיש אין אור של גיהנום שולטת בו שישראל קל וחומר מזבח הזוב, מה מזבח הזוב שאינו לו ולא כאויבי דין ארזוב, כמה שונים אין האור שולטת בו. פה שישראל שמלא מצווה זכרימו אין דכסיב, כפל אחרים אור הכוסך, אל תקרא הכוסך לריקוים שבוך, על אחס, כמה וכמה, הסוגיה מדברת על תומס ותיירת.
He's a great guy and he's an inspiration. Here's another guy that inspires Klal Yisrael. He's a cashier, I don't know his name, at Nikki's, something like that, in Lakewood. And he's doing the daf. You know the guy? Rabbi said the first time Baruch Shafna said a word in the shir. The first time. Wow. Wow. Why? Because he got his chaskes atoida. What's his name? Asher? Bliznikovich? Bliznikovich. A Talmud from Belarus, the place that we were at. Oh, which reminds me, what a coincidence. Rabbi Isai, check this out. We took our grace donors, the ones that hold up MDY Torah. We took them on a massive trip, a trip of chizuk, and it was a tremendous trip of chizuk to Europe. And the last night, everybody grabbed the mic. Every single person took the mic and said some things, and people were literally crying when they spoke. It was an unbelievable trip. Here goes a little bit. This is terrible.
The moment now is very emotional for me.
The Achdus, which is coming out.
So many of our grandparents were just snuffed out like in a man in a row.
Barry Shapiro's talk inside of the gas chamber at Majdanek just really set me off.
Never cried so much for so long.
Don't know what sacrifice, apparently how much you did for this trip.
This trip was so incredibly relaxing because I know I'm not missing the daf.
These are days that I'll never forget.
I'm thankful for it.
To see Reb Eli giving a shir surrounded by people, to have so much life in such a dark place.
Is just unbelievable.
So if you want to see it, the whole thing right here, you scan this. And the Masechta is sponsored by Refuah Shelaima for Yosef Chaim Shmuel Ben Alte Nechama from his grateful families. Masechta is sponsored for Atzlacha, Brooklyn, ובגשמיות. The Masechta is sponsored by Larry Cohn in memory of Yechiel Moshe Ben Chaim, who started learning Daf Yomi at age 7 and continued to learn for 32 years until he was nifter Gary, where's the Zoom? Leiby wants to say hello to his father. The Masechta is sponsored for the unity of the Jewish people. 5 parnassa chodesh for a fast and complete Refuah Shelema for Shmuel Nechemia ben Hinda, Eli Nishmas Silya bas Dvora, Eli Nishmas Binyamin Meir ben Zev David Hashem Yikim Damo, Eli Nishmas Zechariah ben Moshe, Eli Nishmas Chaya bas Yosef. Last night on Zoom we broke records. We had 140 people in Hebrew live. Yosef ben Chaya Sara for parnassa berevach. The Merzel family on the occasion of Yoni Siyum Hashas, in honor and with Akaras Atov to Reb Eli MDY. Yoni Merzel is a big part of MDY. As I was leaving, I couldn't do emails today. I'll explain to you later. There is quite a sugya today that we have unbelievable art that makes the sugya simple and understandable. And it explains everything that MDY is all about, today's sugya. Parnassa Yoim, Elana Price, happy birthday to my brother Daniel Price, your favorite sister. Sruli Pesach, in honor of my newest recruits to Masechta Sanhedrin, Shloimi Dresner from Borough Park, C.Y. Folman from Staten Island, Moshe Naaman from Kiryas Yoel. May we zeicha to Messiah Masechta Sanhedrin together. Sruli Pesach, 3 gifts. Those are the 3. Yossi Wasim and a schus to all who need a refuah and a Yeshua, and in honor of Reb Eli, Baruch Hashem, I can give back now. That's the koila of the day. Yishkoyach Reb Yossi Wasserman. Art of the month for schus, to Reb Eli, for Reb Eli, and the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable so many. The art of the month, Rabbi said, check out the art today. It's mamish, unbelievable. In honor of Yossi Klein and Mark Ashkenazi for all the work they do, this is the, Givaldik. Voisai, we're holding by Amud Beis Con. Like right before it becomes wide. Omer Mar. Yeah, you're with me. So it says Chizkiah, he was very sad. What did he do wrong exactly? He asked Mechila, says the Gemara, She'ema Abram Ela Adar Vu Iber Nisan Ben Nisan. He added another month to the year, and you're only supposed to add another Adar, and he added Chodesh Nisan. Does anybody want a donut? Here, take these donuts, pass them on. No way. Somebody's hiding. Oh, I see. He's almost sitting in the bathroom. Dov, there's a seat over here. I don't know what you're doing by the bathroom. There's literally a seat. Come. Here. You want to be, you can go on the right side, you go on the left side. Where do you want? Huh? Mayor, where's Mayor Dambi? I saw him walk in, but he's also, come. Mayor, sit next to your brother. There's a seat next to your brother. You came perfect. Okay. Who else do we have here? We once were saying, Eli Dolinsky, Shalom Aleichem, Reb Eli, I could say Barav and Yishkar for all the hard work that you put into the Shabbaton. Dozens and maybe hundreds of hours. I don't know, every song, every zach, every word on the screen. Vernach. Who else? Oh, Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? David Shaul from? Brooklyn. You don't even say it like the right way. Huh? The hood. Forget about it. Where? Who else? No, he's old. Very old. Very enough. Okay. Guys, you came at a perfect day. You're gonna see why. All right, so Chizkiah asked a little bit of tefillah. He wanted mechila because he did Ibur Hashana, Iber Nisan Ben Nisan. They asked Mendy Auerbach to daven for the Omer on Shabbos. He said he can't. He said I was singing. I have no voice. There's a week later. Me also. I didn't get over it yet. But whoever was there is hoarse. Iber Nisan Ben Nisan. V'leslei asked the Gemara. V'leslei l'Chizkiah Chodesh Hazel Lochem. We all know Nisan is the Nisan. Chodesh Hazel Lochem. You can't do anything with it. You can't add. Ze Nisan v'nachar Nisan. You can't make 2. Says Gemara, no. Obviously, he didn't make such a mistake. His mistake was very, very minute. Something that we don't even know. Maybe today we'll figure it out. Tabed Shmuel. He made a mistake in Shmuel that lived many, many generations later. But the Omar Shmuel, the last final day of Adar, which could potentially be part of Nisan. Why? Because you can make a 29th day of Adar. but it's the 30th day. It is part of Adar, but since it has the potential to be part of Nisan, so you don't do a Ibiyar on that day. Hayil v'royel l'koyve Nisan. Since there's a possibility to make that day Nisan, so stay away from it. It has halacha like Nisan. View Savar, but Chizkiah didn't hold like that. He held Hayil v'royel. I mean, just because you could make it Nisan, but at the end of the day, today it's part of Adar, so it's Adar. I can make it a leap year. We see such a halacha, and that was his mistake, and that's why he asked Mechila. Reb Shimon, what was his big aveiro? He told Klai Yisrael, don't bring the korban Pesach today, bring it in a month from now, Niyar. When do you tell Klai Yisrael to bring it on Pesach Sheni? When you don't have a roiv. When you have a miyot of Klai Yisrael that is tamei, so you send them to the next month. If you have a roiv, Tuma, Hutra B'tzibur, it would be okay. Says Gemara, but what was his mistake exactly? There's some sort of shaila that he made a mistake, a little boo-boo. What was the problem? We didn't have a roiv, but if you use women, you could have a roiv. With the women, most of Klai Yisrael was tar. Now the question is, what role do women play? If they have a real chiyuv for korban Pesach, so they're part of the number. If they're not, if there's no chiyuv for them to eat a korban Pesach, they just could eat a korban Pesach, then they're not part of the number. He thought that they are part of the number. They have a chayv in the first Pesach. So now you only have a minority of Klai Yisrael that's tamei, and if you only have a minority, they should bring the korban Pesach on Pesach Sheni. Then he realized, no, women don't have the chiyuv of korban Pesach. And therefore, most of Klai Yisrael, most of the men are tamei. And if most of the men are tamei, then you don't push them off to the second Pesach. Gufa. We just said that according to Shmuel, you don't do a leap year, you don't do Ibiyar on the 30th day of Adar, because that day is a special day because it could possibly be part of Nisan. What happens if they didn't listen and they did it anyway? What you do is, you don't do anything, and you do Kiddush HaChodesh on the next month, on Nisan, and automatically this month becomes Kaddish. Kitchumai, what if you didn't listen and you were Kaddish that month? And that's basically what the Gemara says before. The Chizkiah asked Mechila for that, because it's supposed to be batal. Rav Nachman Omar Me'ubar Mekudesh. No, it's not a problem. Seems like that's the halacha. We all know that the Rabbanim started giving drushes about Pesach and the Hilchos HaPesach 30 days before Pesach. What's 30 days before Pesach? Purim. So everybody's darshing away. So in everybody's mind, Pesach is in 30 days from now. They start counting down. The women start working hard, everybody starts cleaning, start buying Pesach food, the stores start moving things around. We know Pesach is coming up. The sign Yisrael Milchas Pesach 30 days before. You only start 2 weeks before. And now all of a sudden, you say, no, we're going to add another month. Also, there's a zul b'chametz. People might come and eat chametz on the new Pesach, which is a month and a half from now. They'll say, no, that's not the Pesach. Pesach is 30 days after Purim. 60 days after Purim is not Pesach. People know that it's not a joke, that it's hard to do a leap year. The Chacham put a lot of work into it, and there's a big calculation. Yes, you're right, it's late in the year, but it took them a while to get to this point of the calculation, and therefore they're not going to be mizalz. They're going to realize that, okay, Chacham gave drushes, we were preparing, but you know what happens. Once in a while it happens, and there's a new Pesach this year, and they're not going to be mizalz. Okay. Omer Rav Yehuda Shmuel. So now we're going back to this idea called Tkufa. There are 4 seasons of the year. We're very familiar. This is no different than what we learned when we were kids. There's fall, the summer, the spring, autumn. Each Tkufa is 91 days and 7.5 hours. We'll call it 91 and a quarter. And we spoke about it yesterday that in the Jewish calendar, we go with the lunar / solar. The Goyim go with solar. The Arabs the Muslims go with lunar. For instance, Ramadan could come out every year at a different season. They just go with lunar. And lunar doesn't add up with the solar. Lunar only has 354 point something days in a year. And the solar has 365. There's an 11-day difference. So it keeps on getting pushed off and pushed off. So 1 year, Ramadan could be in the middle of the winter, like this year. 1 year could be in the middle of the summer, which is terrible for them. They have to fast and work in the heat. We don't want that to happen. We want, if such a situation would happen, it would be terrible for the Eden. So we adjust our calendar. The months go by the lunar. We have 29 or 30-day months. But we need to make sure that our Yom Tovim fit into seasons. So if this is what happens, if Sukkot falls out, let's say, in the middle of the summer season, we need to adjust it. And Pesach also, so we go like this. We push it into, Sukkot should be in the Tishrei season, not Tishrei month, season. And Pesach should be in the Nisan season. Nisan season is a 3-month season. Tishrei season is 3 months. It's just called there. You can see over here, these are the seasons. Nisan is spring, which is Nisan Iyar Sivan. Tammuz, the Tkuf of Tammuz is Tammuz of Elul. Tishrei is Tishrei Chesed Kislev. Okay. So when do we add this extra month? Sometimes we add another month to push things into the right position. When do we do this? So we have a machlokes here. Ein ma'abrim sashana elam kein hoysat Omer Rav Yehuda Shmuel, which I said before. I'll say it again, no problem. I'll say it again. Omer Rav Yehuda, Omer Shmuel. Ein ma'abrin es hashana elam kein hoysat kufa chasera rubei shel chodesh. How many days are in a month? Let's say 29, 30 days. Half of a month is how many days? Rabbi Zai, 15. Most of the month is how many days? 16. Minority days of the month is how many? 14. Okay, so we got all the days. Now you know the whole sugi. We could actually go home right now.
So we have to do today's daf.
What you have to do is just read it. But you got it. Okay, you got 14, 15, 16. So he says Rabbi Yehuda, you need most of the month to be in the wrong place. You have most of the month in the wrong place. Here, let's take a look here. Now, once you see this, this is going to be gewaldig. This is a game changer right over here. No shir in the world has this. You see where it says 16, and there's an arrow, and it's in the Tkufas Tammuz. If you have 16 days of Tishrei, these days what you're looking at, I'll explain to you. You see it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are the 6 days of Chalamayid. The day right before that says Tesvav is the 15th day. The 16th day of Tishrei is actually the first day of Chalamayid. If it falls out that the first day of Chalamayid is in the wrong Tkufa, it's in the summer Tkufa, Tkufas Tammuz, in the yellow part, it should actually be in the orange. So we need to do something about it. We need to do this. Let's see if that works. Oops, sorry. Okay. So over here, you see, now it's in the right place. The arrow is in the right place. Then we don't do Ibriyar. But if you do it Ibriyar, go like this. Look, take a look. It's very nice. You see this little box? You stick in an Adar over there. By adding out another Adar, you push all the days on top to the right, and they all line up beautifully into Tkufas Tishrei. Huh? You have to do before, yeah. You stick in. Here we go. You see how all the Yontif, all the days of Chalamayid are over the yellow? So what you do is you stick in 30 days on the bottom over here, and it pushes Yontif and it pushes Chalamayid into the right season. Now in the right season. You don't want to be too hot. You can't sit in the sukkah when it's too hot. You don't want it too cold. You don't want too much rain. You put it in the Tkufas Tishrei. When does this happen? When you have most of the month, meaning one day of Chol Hamoed in the wrong place, then in the yellow, then you push it over to the orange. Shisha Asayim. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda. Yud Gimel Amud Aleph. Now we're holding where we need to be holding. By the way, if you don't like the sugya, there's no reason you shouldn't, because you already know it, 14, 15, 16, okay? On Amud Beis, towards the top, is the end of the sugya, and it gets very, very easy there. Do not put your finger on that. Give this to me a second. Why is your finger here? He's looking at these charts. Rabbi said, do not look at these charts over here. We got nice, colorful, round charts.
Rip it out.
We're not ripping it out.
I see his finger there. Reb Yosef Omer. Reb Yosef Omer, Echad ve'esrim yoim. Reb Yosef says, Rabbi say his Reb Yosef. 21. If you have one day of Chol Hamoed, which is the 21st day of Tishrei, that's the 6th day of Chol Hamoed. If that ends up in the right place, great. But if it's not, if it's over here, if 21 days of the month are in the yellow in Tkufas Tammuz, that's when you have to add another month. Okay, you got to push it this way. If it's like this, you're good. If the 21st day of Tishrei is in Tkufas Tishrei, we're good. In other words, as long as you get one day Chol Hamoed in the right Tkufa, we're good. If we don't get one day of Chol Hamoed, we're over here. If the last day of Chol Hamoed ends up in the wrong Tkufa, Tkufas Tammuz, then you must do, we'll do here, let's do an Ibur, watch, Rabbi Sai, you got to insert a whole month here. Other, here we go. And it pushes the entire month, and it pushes the whole Yantif into Tkufas Tishrei. And it's very simple. They actually both learn it from the same exact pasuk, but they learned it differently. It says in the pasuk, the Chag ha'asif Tkufas hashana. The holiday, the Chag, v'Chag ha'asif. What does asif mean? To gather. The yantiv of gathering your crop, Tkufas hashana, should be in the new Tkufa. What's hashana? What Tkufas, if I ask you, what's Tkufas hashana? Which Tkufa out of the 4 Tkufas? Hashana, like Rosh Hashana, which is Tkufas Tishrei. Chag ha'asif, the holiday, the yantif of gathering must be in Tishrei. How many days of that? Maybe the whole thing, maybe half. Ha'asif, when are you allowed to gather, Rabbi Say? On Chol Hamoed only. You can't gather on Yantif. It's also Issa D'Oraisa to gather fruit on Yantif. It's also probably Issa D'Oraisa to gather on Chol Hamoed. So now that we're here, one of the things that I spoke a lot about, and it made a change in people's lives, this little thing. When we're learning those sugyas in Yuma, Psachim, whatever it was, Rosh Hashanah, Moed Katan. Yeah, Moed Katan. Yeah, Moed Katan. A lot of people, they think, what's Chol Hamoed? Even if you came to Shir just for this, what's Chol Hamoed? Chol Hamoed is a time, you have Yantif over here, you have Yantif over here, and in between is the time that you spend time with your family and you go to amusement parks. That's Chol Hamoed. You go to different trips, they go sailing, they go shopping, you do skiing, whatever you need to do, it's Chol Hamoed. There's Yantif, and a bunch of weekdays in the middle. And it's a huge mistake. It says terrible things about people that think that and do that. In other words, you have to get it in your mind, the Chol Hamoed is 100% Yantif. It's just a relaxed Yantif, but it's Yantif, meaning everything is Aser. Some things are mutter. You're barely allowed to write with a pen on Chol Hamoed. You're not allowed to go shopping. You're not allowed to go to work. You're not allowed to, nothing. It happens to be, if it's Dover or Aved, if it's something that you have a big loss, then you're allowed to. But it's a mind change. It's a different set. We're sitting in the hotel. Anybody that went on a Pesach program, the Oilam goes out shopping. So you ask them, why are you shopping? What's going on? It's Chol Hamoed. It's Dover Aved. There's a big sale in the mall. That's not Dover Aved. It's excuses to go shopping. People came over to me and said, a number of people, this is the first time in my life I closed down my business. I'm the boss. I closed down my business Chol Hamoed. I've never thought to do it. Now after I learned the Moed Katan, it's a mind change. People have to realize it's mamish yantif. But it says over here that if you have a davar of it, you're going to have a loss. You're not going to gather your crop. It's going to be a loss. Then it's mutter when? In Chalamayid. So in Melech Chalamayid, only Chalamayid has to be in the new Tkufa. Any picture we get here? Not this one. It's not a good one. Here. A little. So Reb Yossi says as long as you have 1 day of Chalamayid, number 6, on orange, then you're good. Reb Yehuda says no, it says Chalamayid, the entire Chalamayid, meaning the only day, according to Reb Yehuda, that's allowed to be in the wrong Tkufa is Yontif, the 15th, because that's not Chag Asif. So that's why if you look closely, you'll see Tesvav, in this case, is in the Tammuz Tkufa, and that's okay. As long as all days of Chalamayid, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, are in the Tkufa. We got it so far? Okay, so say that everything is good, but Now, Michael Sabri. So here's a very simple question. Let me ask the Olam, just a raise of the hands. The first day of a new season, does it belong to the new season or is it the end of the old season? What do you guys think? Stam, logically speaking. First day of the season. New, everybody says new. So that's what the Gemara is going to say. That similar to, but just to understand the Gemara's question, and there's actually a machlokes later, is it like Shabbos? What is Shabbos? Shabbos is the last day of the week. HaKadosh Baruch Hu started creation, first day. So the Shabbos is not the first day of the week. Shabbos is the last day of the week. What's Rosh Chodesh? Tomorrow is Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Chodesh is the last day of the month or the first day of the month? It's the first day. It's the first day of the month. Okay, Rosh Chodesh, first day of the month. Stop L'Saber. Those understand. Don't. Don't
ruin the good.
I'm just giving you a marshal here, okay? Rosh Chodesh is like the first day of the month. That's klar. So the question is, the first day of a tkufa, is it a tchilas tkufa, is it the beginning, or is it the end? Here, to L'Saber Sa'izan, here, you have this orange thing with a question mark. It's the first day. Does it belong to the right? Is it the first day? Or is it a goymer? It's actually the last day of is the 91st day of the previous season, or is day number 1 of the new season? So So very, very simple. If it's the last day of the last kufa, then you're missing a day here now. Now you're missing a day. You have to adjust your Chalamayid is not going to fall out. You thought that 1 day of Chalamayid is in the new season. No. The first day is not the new season. The first day is actually the last day of last season. So your Chalamayid is in the wrong place. You want to get your Chalamayid on the second day of the season, which is the first day of the season. If your first day is not the first day, it's actually the last day, so then Chalamayid didn't come out on the Tkufas Tishrei. Your first day is really Tkufas Tammuz. It just means you're off by 1 day because the day belongs to another tkufa. We're moving on from this. It's just a one-line thing. Elok Sabri, sorry. Hegdami. Michael Sabri. If it belongs to the previous month, then either way, not according to Reb Yehuda, you need the entire Chalamayid in there. According to Reb Yossi, you only need a little tiny bit of Chalamayid in the new tkufa. It's not the new tkufa yet. It's part of the last tkufa. You're right. The first day, like everybody here in the room said, the first day, it belongs to the new season, and therefore, if you have 1 day of Chalamayid in the new season, you're good according to Reb Yossi, according to Reb Yehuda, you need all the days, Meisvei. But I have a big problem with this. You just have to say 3 words and you see a big problem. Yom Tkufa, Goimer. We said a second ago, Yom Tkufa, Matchil, that everybody holds it's the beginning, like here in the room. Everybody in this room said, El Kasavri, everybody holds Yom Tkufa, Matchil, the first day of a new season. Meisvei, Yom Tkufa, Goimer. It's not the first day, it's the last day, Divri Reb Yehuda. We're talking about Reb Yehuda. He's the first Tana that we mentioned here. Shmuel says that according to Reb Yehuda, everybody holds that it's matchil, not goymer. And over here it says mefurish, that Reb Yehuda says it's goymer. We have a little bit of a contradiction. Okay, Reb Yossi says it's matchil, but Reb Yehuda says it's goymer. Void. So, what did Shmuel say? Shmuel said that according to Reb Yehuda, how many days do you need in a previous tkufa to mess up the tkufa and that you have to add another month? You need roiv month, which is 16 days. The problem is, the Tanakama over here says you need most of the month, which is that's what we said Reb Yehuda holds. And all of a sudden over here, Reb Yehuda Omer, shtei yados b'chodesh. V'kama shtei yados, 2 hands, b'chodesh, 2/3. 2/3 of a month. How much is 2/3 of a month? That's Reb Yehuda. If a month has 30 days, so 2/3 is 20. Why do you Shmuel say that Reb Yehuda says 16 days when he in fact says 20 days? Oh, this is gewaldig. Without a chart, I don't know what you would do, but this is so geschmack. Check this out. It goes like this. There's an arrow. We know that basically Sukkot and Pesach line up. They're half a year apart from each other, right? Sukkot is on the 15th, Pesach is on the 15th. They should line up, but they don't. Why? They're off by 5 days. Rashi goes in a whole calculation. 91 plus 91 equals 182. But every month, there's a chaser, yeser, there's a 29. B'kitzur, if you know something happens on Pesach, then you have to add 5 days to that on Sukkot. There's a 5-day difference. So, if Pesach ends up over here, look, check this out, on the 16th. If there's 16 days off, if you're off on 16 days, 16 days belong to the wrong tkufa, to tkufas tevis. You want Pesach to be in tkufas Nisan. When do you do that? When it's 16. So it end up 5-day difference on Sukkot. So 16 plus 5 equals 21. So it's 21 by Sukkot. That's what the Gemara says here. If there's 16 days in the wrong place before Pesach, you stick in another month, which is Shisha Lefnei Chag. Oh, and then that's how you know what you do with Sukkot, which is 21 on Sukkot. But Shisha Lefnei Chag Eimabrim. 16 days. If you're off by 16 days before Sukkot, you don't do a ibur. We said before, how many days do you need? 21. 16 is the wrong number. That's good. I'm just explaining the Gemara's kasha now, so when we get there, you'll understand. We just said if it's 16 by Pesach, it's 16 by Sukkot. It's not true. It's 5 days off. It's 21. The Gemara is going to say, you're right. I just used 16 to match the 16 of Pesach. It's the wrong number. It should say right now 21 or 20. Reb Shimon basically says the same thing as the Tanakama, that in order to add another month to the calendar, you have to be off by 16 days. Shisha Asur. The Gemara is going to say, so what's the difference between Reb Shimon and Tanakama? They're both saying 16. How much is the minority days of the month? We said 14. V'kama miyutoy arba asar yom, 14. Kashya. So you have 2 kashas here in Shmuel, really. Kasha number 1 we explained is that according to Shmuel, everybody holds that the first day of a season is part of the new season. Over here it says Mufurish that the first day of the season is part of last season. Goymer, according to Reb Yehuda. Second big kasha is that we start off the sugi saying that according to Reb Yehuda, in order to do a ibriyar, in order to stick in another other, you have to be off by 16 days. Over here it says you have to be off by 20 days. Okay, kasha, it's a kasha. Omar. The Gemara is not going to go into answering now. Reb Yehuda Omer shtei yados b'chodesh esrim yom. Reb Yehuda says in order to do an ibriyar, you have to be off by 20 days. 20 days. Reb Yehuda says you do a calculation. Shisha yom lefnei Pesach ma'abrim. If it's 16 days off before Pesach, then you do an ibriyar. Says Gemara, Hainu Reb Yehuda. So basically, at this point, the Gemara understands that lefi Reb Yehuda and lefi Reb Yosi, when you say here, if we go like this. According to this is not so meduyik, but be'erach. According to this is the new Reb Yehuda Shita. The old Reb Yehuda Shita was 16, now we're at 21. What is Reb Yehuda saying? As long as 1 day of Chalamayid is in the right place, we're good. That's what Reb Yehuda is saying. As long as you only do Iber Yar if you're 20 days in. This is not right, okay? It should say 21 on the Tkuvas Tishrei. But you understand what I'm saying. Not 16, 20. Meaning that he's saying the same thing as Reb Yossi. Reb Yossi said 21. So they're basically off by a day, but their idea is the same, the logic is the same. All I need is 1 day, 1 to 2 days of Chol Hamoed. The Gemara is saying that they're saying the same shita. They're not saying the same thing. One is saying 20, one is saying 21. The idea is the same. The idea is that as long as I get a little bit of Chol Hamoed into my new tkufa, into tkufas Tishrei, I don't do an Iber Yard. I don't add a month. So Hainu Rebbe Yehuda. No. But they are off a little bit. One says 20, one says 21. So what could be the difference? If you hold that the first day of a season really belongs to the previous season, then I need to add another day. So we're off by a day. Rebbe Yehuda and Rebbe Yossi are just arguing on 1 day whether the first day of the season belongs to the previous season, to this season. But the idea, the logic is the same. I don't need an entire Chol Hamoed in the new Tkufa, in Tkufas Tishrei. All I need is 1 day out of the 6 days to be in the new Tkufa, and then I don't have to do a leap year, I don't have to add another month. 16 days before Sukkot, you don't do a Ibor. This is the question I said before. That it's really, Reb Yossi says 21 days. Where did you get 16? It's only 16 before Pesach, but by Sukkot, it's different. It's a 5-day difference. Even 20 days into the Tkufas Tammuz, you don't do Ibur like we said before. Imamish, he just used the word 16, so it should be easier to remember, but he didn't really mean 16. He used 16 before Sukkot because it's the same number as before Pesach. But, in fact, when it comes to Sukkot, it's 21. 21. Reb Shimon Omer, so now, as I also mentioned this question before. I almost forgot. Rabbi Isai, this gave me a lot of anah. We're starting to get it. This is a tough sugya, and I always thought that 3D is going to break up the sugya a little bit. Give us a shtickle humor. I think they did a great job here. Take a look at this. You're going to love this.
Shalom Aleichem, AI. Can I get your help, please?
At your service.
I need to calculate whether the Chachamim will add another Adar so that I can already book rooms for the Pesach vacation at MDY Safari Resort.
No problem. Just explain to me the rules of intercalation.
According to Shmuel, you have to add another Adar if the majority of the month is missing, which is 16 days according to Yehuda, and according to Yossi, it is 21 days. But there is still disagreement about whether the day of the equinox, Yom Tegufa, concludes the season or begins. On the other hand, there is a disagreement about whether to add another Adar when the majority of a month is missing, which is the 16th day, or 2/3 of a month, which is the 20th day. According to Yossi, 16 days before Pesach, the year is intercalated, but not before the holiday. And according to Shimon, also during the holiday. And according to others, also in the minority of a month, which is 14 days. It's really simple, right? Oh, maybe I should have shown him the charts for Reb Eli's shear.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to stick with rabbinical intelligence.
Givaldik. This is the 16 days, 15 days, 14 days, equinox. Yeah. Reb Shimon Omer, Av Shisha also Lefnei Chag Ma'abrim. Says Reb Shimon, 16 days before the Chag, even if you have 16 days before Sukkot, you add another month. That's the Gemara Nechama. Isn't that the same exact shita? We saw two shitas that say 16. We already had this teretz. You're right. They both say 16, but the difference between them is whether or not the first day of a season belongs to this season or to the previous season. Below Messiah, we don't know who says what. Is it Reb Shimon or Tanakama? We don't know. 5 more lines and we're done with the sugya. Kimat. That even if you have only 14 days, even if you have 14 days in the wrong spot, here, let's see, like this. If 14 days, let me zoom in on it. If 14 days are in Tkufas Tammuz, where that arrow is, then you will make a Iber Yar. You would have to push the 14 into the Tishrei. Michael Sabri, what's going on here? If you hold, even if you hold that the first day of a season is really part of the previous season, and you need entire chalamayid in your new tkufa. Let's see. No, I wanted. Okay. Look, everything, if you look closely, if the 14th day of the month is in the wrong tkufa, in tkufa's tammuz, that means the entire sukkah is in the right place. It's all within tkufa's tishrei. So why in the world would they hold they have to do a ibriyar? What's the point? Why add a month now? Everything's in the right place. Sukkah is in the right place. If only the 14th day, the mir of the month, is in the wrong tkufa, that means you got everything in there. You didn't understand. They're not even talking about the top of the calendar. They are talking about the bottom. They're talking about down there. 14 days by Nisan, not by Tishrei. Oh, a new halacha, very, very simple. It says in the pasuk you should keep the month of the spring of Aviv, Shemar Aviv Shetkufa, Sheyeh B'chodesh Nisan. Make sure that the Chiddush Levana is, when do you do Kiddush Levana? By the 14th. 14 days, make sure 14 days, the first 14 days of Nisan, it's a new halacha, nothing to do with Pesach. Just make sure that the Chiddush Levana should be in the right place. That's why it's 14. Shamar is Chodesh Aviv. The month of Aviv should be in the right place. So how much are we off? If you have 14 over here, take a look. In order to make sure that day 14 is in Tkufas Tishrei, because the pasuk says, down here. Down here, 14 needs to be, day 14, it says in the pasuk, day 14, nothing to do with Pesach or anything. Chodesh, when there's no Levana, that should be in Nisan. So how many days are we off here? Our boys say, how many days need to be pushed over? 1 day. For 1 day, I don't have to add another month to the year. For 1 day, what do I do? Huh? Chodesh Muberes. Take a look what he did, beautiful. Take a look on the bottom of the chart. Here. It says 29 days of Adar. Take a look. If you add a 30th day, it pushes day 14 to the right place. Why do you have to add another month? Add another day. Omer Avacha Bar Yaakov. So Rashi just goes in. I don't want to make anybody crazy in such a sugya, but Rashi says, but if you push off it, you add another day. He actually talks about it on Amud Aleph, but I said there's no way I'm going to talk about it there. If you add another day, so you don't have Badu, Roish, the whole Yom Tovim have to come out on certain days of the week. And if you add another day to other, it'll come out on the wrong day. So Rashi says, a big aside, that the only day that we care about in the calendar should come out on certain days is Rosh Hashanah. Up until Rosh Hashanah, I can fix it again. How can I fix it again? By adding another day in another month, and then I'll push off Rosh Hashanah to the right day of the week. Okay, fine. Omer Avacha Bar Yaakov Tana Milamala Lamatika Chash. The Gemara says a very simple thing. What did you ask me? That if there's 14 days, if we're off by 1 day, add another day to other. You're right, that's what we do. The only time you add another month is if we're off by 16, 17, 18 days. When he says 14, he wasn't talking about the max. He was talking about the minimum. Basically, start counting. If there's 19 days off, 18 days off, 17 days, 16 days off, then you add another month until you get to 14. If you get to 14 days off, then all you do is add another day. Do Iber Chodesh. He's going 19, 18, 17. Until you get to 14, you add another month. But once you get to 14, how much is the miyut of a month? Then you could add 1 day, do it Iber Chodesh. How do you say it? Chodesh Muberes. Ravina Omar. Here, this is really only 3 more lines to the sugya. Chodesh Malay. Ravina Omar Loila Macherim B'Tishrei Kaimi. You don't have to say that we're talking about Pesach. We're talking about Tishrei, Sukkos. like we were talking about the whole shir. Because oh, this is very simple and very gishmak. What we were saying that you need chalamoyed on the orange. You need chalamoyed on the nutkufa. Not true. You need yontif also. You need the first day of Sukkot. You need the entire Sukkot to be in the nutkufa. That's why 14. The what? Because the reason why we go with 14 days is no good. If this 14 days in the other tkufa, we put another month, because I want to push more days into the new tkufa. I want to get the entire yontif with the first day of yontif. You asked me. It says Chag Asif. It's only chalamayid. Chag Asif means chalamayid, when I could gather. No, it means the holiday of Asif, the entire yontif, even the day that you're not allowed to do asifa. Because he'll even hold that the kufa is goimer. The first day of the new season is actually part of the last season. And but since I need the entire yontif, including yontif rishon, in the new kufa, that's why I add another full month to the calendar. When I have 14 days in Tkufas Tammuz, I add another month in Adar, and I push everything so that I could get Yontiv Rishon into the Tkufas Tishrei. Yontiv Rishon Chag Asif Ksiv. What do you mean? Why do I need Yontiv? It says Chag Asif Chalamayid. No, Chag Abba Bizman Asifa. This is the Yontiv of Asifa. Rabbi Yisai, we just finished one of the toughest sugyas, probably one of the toughest sugyas in Sanhedrin, and I think Yoshi did a phenomenal job. Let's do a little bit of the sugya. We have 3-4 minutes. This we could what? Yeah. Oh, we have to do sponsors talk. Turning to the daf, it's by Innovations LLC, in honor of my uncle Reb Eli Pressman official. It should be Schus Vakiva Simcha Ben Fego Shidduch for Rivka Yudas Bas Chaya. Huge thank you to Reb Stefansky, plus all the brachas, Danny Fein and Rob's Ernest of Elite Israel. Really, welcome all in order. Let's do this tomorrow because every minute counts now. Smichas Skenim. It says does anybody remember what Smichas Skenim is? Oh, it says Oshi on top of the cow, not on top of the Skenim, which it sounds like. It's the Skenim putting their hands on top of the Parhelim Dover. So, Toner Rabbanon, the Samchu Ziknei, they should put their hands, Yochel. So we have a machlokes in the Mishnah. How many Skenim put their hands on the cow? 3 or 5. What's the machlokes? The Samchu Ziknei, Yochel Ziknei Ashok, maybe should have some random elders from the marketplace. Tamaloimer Eda should be from the Sanhedrin. Eda Yochel Tani Eda maybe should be from the small Sanhedrin of 23. Tamaloimer Ha Eda, the big Sanhedrin, Miyuchodim should be Eda from the Sanhedrin of 71. You take 3 people from there. How many? V'samcho Shnaim is 2. Ziknei is another 2. Shnaim. So you have 4. Ve'im bezin shakol. You can never have a bezin with the even number. You need an odd number. Moisim alei moidechad. Harek and chamish. You have 5. Divrei Reb Yehuda. Reb Shimon Oimer Ziknei Shnaim. It's only 2. Ve'im bezin and shakol, and you can't have an even bezin. Moisim alei moidechad. Harek and shloisha. So we have machlokes 3 or 5. Reb Shimon oksiv v'samcho. What does he do with the words that Chacham used? V'samcho is another 2. It says you have to lean on the animal. What do you mean? Reb Yehuda says, no, I don't need to tell me the actual halacha. The imkein, I was supposed to show this. I got to show it real quickly. Hold on, where is it? Get Sanhedrin in your head. It just explains, when we saw this video from Fishel, this one, Nissan, Aldor, Nissan. I don't know what's going on. Get your head in Sanhedrin. Okay, how do you shut it off? We'll go weiter. So he just says the word v'samchu, it should say lichtoiv ziknei yoyde yidem al rosh hapar. It's an interesting lashon, but it doesn't have to say the word v'samchu. Reb Shimon iksiv hachi avamina mai al b'samuch. There's a passage that says v'achayim. There's a few psukim in the Torah. What is v'achayim olav mati yisachar? Everybody that knows Hebrew, v'achayim olav doesn't mean that they parked on top of. They didn't park on top of another shevet. Olav means next to. Doesn't mean on top of. So If it says v'somchu al rosh, maybe it's not on top. Maybe I put my hands next to the animal. Reb Yehuda Gomar rosh ma'olah. No, by olah it is on top. Reb Shimon loy Gomar rosh ma'olah. And Reb Shimon doesn't. B'kitzur, we have machlokes. Is it 5 or 3? Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.